decade, one show has shaped the image of our nation. Your Image, PR television program, the public relations powerhouse that has been broadening visibilities for 10 years. The Pr-Primus Ltd, in partnership with the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, NIPR, and Ogun State Television, OGTV, is inviting you to an extraordinary 10th anniversary of Your Image PR television program under the distinguished chairmanship of His Royal Majesty Oba Professor Sakama Temilola V. Oluwu of Owo Kingdom. Join us on Wednesday, October the 9th, 2024 at the Park Inn by Radisson Hotel, Kuto, Abeokuta. Hear from cultural icon Prince Yemisi Shilon, Grand Donor and Chairman, Supervisory Council, Yemisi Shilon Museum of Art, from Atlantic University, Lagos, as he talks on the topic, the role of public relations in promotion of arts, culture and tourism. Experience a decade of game-changing guests, empowerment programs honoring legends, insight from NIPR President Dr. Ike Meleako, and awards for PR excellence. Don't miss this landmark event in PR history, which includes the release of 10th anniversary edition of the iconic Pr-Primus magazine, Your Image, 10 years of broadening visibilities, shaping the future, October the 9th, 2024. Be there.
It's 10 years, just like yesterday. We will be celebrating a decade of public relations excellence. Today, I want to warmly welcome you to another edition of Your Image. This is the first public relations TV program in Africa, courtesy Ogun State Television. Kudos to OGTV. Today, we are having a different topic entirely, and it has to do with the issue of pension and then the retirees. Of course, citizens are expected to enjoy life after retirement, and when we retire, certain benefits are supposed to accrue. And in this realm, we are hearing a lot of issues concerning pension, and I have with me two guests. They are retirees. I have the courtesy of recognizing Dr.Rasheed Adetoro, a former chief lecturer at the Federal College of Education. You are welcome.
Thank you, the moderator. Thank you for having me.
I also have Dr. Gabriel Onifade, also a former chief librarian, formerly in Lagos, and then retired at the Federal College of Education too, also a retiree. You don't look like a retiree. And what is the current situation? I know that state governments are doing wonderfully well. The state government has just released a big fund to ameliorate pension issues for the Ogun State citizens. And I want to say kudos to the Ogun State governor for doing that. I learned a lot of pensioners in the Ogun State are really happy with this development. Well, what is happening at the federal level, Dr. Adetoro?
Thank you, the moderator. At the federal level, it's like the person that is supposed to take the lead is coming behind. Federal retirees have been suffering in silence, seriously, of which I'm one of them. Actually, many of us that had retired over 1 year ago, precisely I retired 1 year, 2 months ago, and my colleague Dr. Onifade retired 1 year, 7 months ago. We are yet to get pensions nor gratuity. And the issue has been the issue of accrued rights, which had not been funded by the federal government. And this is against the intention of the Pension Act. The Pension Act says that within 90 days, we should receive our accrued rights and to be reconciliated with our contributed funds, with our various PFA. Unfortunately, it has been waiting game since all these days. In fact, since the era of President Jonathan, it became a big problem for the federal government to fund, because they allowed a lot to accumulate, a lot debt on pension to accumulate. For example, as of June this year, we learned that over 230 billion accumulated debt of accrued rights and increment are hanging on federal government neck. And this is against the intention of the Pension Act, which established even contributory pension, which of course all of us contributed.
What will you attribute to the cause of this delay?
The cause of the delay is because of the non-funding of the pension pause by the government, by the federal government. For example, we heard that the money, the accumulated debt of 230 billion had been included in the last supplementary budget, which was signed in July. And since July, they gave us the hope that it will be released immediately the supplementary budget is signed. But up to today, it's yet to be released. The only thing we heard from the DG of PENCOM last week was it will be paid soon. We don't know how soon the soon will be, because many of our colleagues have died in the course of waiting for long for their entitlement and the fruit of their labor. This is very unfair.
Dr. Onifade, is this situation peculiar to your institution alone?
Thank you very much. It's not actually peculiar to our system alone, because the people are, making noise because of their inaction, from various, sectors. And the more reason why, one should not actually, keep quiet, because at times it is better for one to stand and, speak up, oneself. Because in our system, especially in Nigeria, if you keep your mouth shut, nothing will happen. And that's the essence of maybe asking those people that are involved to do something about it. For the past 17 months, like my partner has said, I've been waiting. And before that time, before we proceeded on 3 months, mandatory leave before retirement, we did all the necessary things. For example, we took part.
What were the things that you did?
We took part in what they call verification and enrollment exercise. All of us were involved, and all the necessary documents were generated and given to us. And it is expected that after a year they will have gone around all the necessary places where one had worked, to reconcile and possibly collate everything, so that by after a year the accrued rights will be released. And we have not had anything up till now. When we contacted our PFA, they keep on telling us that they are still expecting the PENCOM, to release the final pay before they can actually ask us to come for our lump sum.
What does the law say, Dr. Adetoro?
Yeah, thank you, the moderator. The law says that within 90 days, all reconciliation should have been done, and accrued rights should have been merged with the contributed funds and released to the lump sum to be negotiated and released to the retiree. But it's getting over a year now, here and there. The law even does not recognize that when the accrued right is late, you have to be waiting with your contributed funds. For example, last month, an alert of reconciliation was sent to me that all my contributed funds, especially from my employer, even though after a year, had been reconciled and the outstanding balance credited to my account. And when I asked my PFA that they should do the needful by paying me the lump sum, they said they are waiting for accrued right. And I said, this negates the spirit of the 2014 Pension Act reforms, which did not say you should wait for accrued right to come before. But we were told it's a guideline. I don't know. I don't know how a guideline could even defeat a law, a statute signed into law by Mr. President.
Could it be a bureaucratic issue?
It is. So that's the way I see it, and it's costing many of us our lives. As we are here, many of us are living on medications. For example, in every month, I spend nothing less than 30,000 for my self-medication to sustain my health. Because, like us, we retired at the age of 65. Professors even retired at the age of 70 when they become vegetative. And we are not considering them. These are nation builders. These are professors that are producing even the manpower of the nations. We have produced doctors, people like us. We have produced doctors, we have produced professors. We have produced even many people that are in Abuja. We are not being catered for. I think it is against the spirit of the art. Otherwise, the contributory pension, which is to fine-tune the waiting game of yesteryears for the old pension scheme, will be defeated.
Well, if I have to have a flashback, I remember in 2013, a scenario also played out. For 6-7 months, retirees were unable to also benefit from their hard-earned contribution. And to us, we believe that this might not be a fair treatment on the part of people who have worked for Nigeria. What's your view? What do you advise federal government to do?
Like you have said, the same thing we are experiencing now. And, you know, people that have actually worked meritoriously for 35 years and retired, they should not be neglected. Because the scheme itself is good. Though there is no perfect system anyway, for as long as human beings are there. So, but the fund that is being taken, you know, on a monthly basis and being managed by PENCOM, I think they are supposed to release at the appropriate time when the owner of the money, you know, wants it. For example,
so you are advocating that the monthly summary should have been released,
of course,
just as it happens in the States.
Of course, it ought to have been released about 5 months, for example, for my own now. It ought to have been released for, since April or maybe May. But we are still waiting, even till now. Because when you go to the bank to save your money there, you have access to your money anytime. You can go there to withdraw. But the issue of pension, contributory pension fund, you know, to me is somehow shrouded in secrecy, especially as far as the release of the lump sum or maybe accrual right is concerned.
Thank you very much. We'll go on break. When we come back, I'll continue with Dr. Adetoro.
And
For a decade, one show has shaped the image of our nation. Your Image, PR television program, the public relations powerhouse that has been broadening visibilities for 10 years. The Pr-Primus Ltd, in partnership with the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, NIPR, and Ogun State Television, OGTV, is inviting you to an extraordinary 10th anniversary of Your Image, PR television program under the distinguished chairmanship of His Royal Majesty, Oba Professor Sakama Temilola V. Oluwu of Owo Kingdom. Join us on Wednesday, October the 9th, 2024, at the Park Inn by Radisson Hotel, Kuto, Abeokuta. Hear from cultural icon Prince Yemisi Shillong, Grand Donor and Chairman, Supervisory Council, Yemisi Shillong Museum of Art, Pan-Atlantic University, Lagos, as he talks on the topic, the role of public relations in promotion of arts, culture and tourism. Experience a decade of game-changing guests, empowerment programs honoring legends, insight from NIPR President Dr. Ike Heleako, and awards for PR excellence. Don't miss this landmark event in PR history, which includes the release of 10th anniversary edition of the iconic Pr-Primus magazine, Your Image, 10 years of broadening visibilities, shaping the future. October the 9th, 2024. Be there.
Welcome back. We are in a mood of celebration, and come October 9, 2024, join us at Park Inn by Radisson Hotel to enjoy a package of public relations excellence. Just be there. Welcome back to the session, Dr. Adetoro.
Yes.
We've been talking about issues bordering on the non-payment of pensions and then release of funds to the retirees. Perhaps we are advocating for a change in the approach so that things can be better. So what's your opinion?
Thank you very much, the moderator. First and foremost, I must congratulate you for a good job being done for public relations outfit in the state and at the nation at large. And we are waiting for the day, and we hope God will make us to be alive to all witness the day.
Amen.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
So, moderator, you see, I think the problem actually is the problem of implementers of reform. You will remember that it is to reform the old pension scheme that the contributory pension scheme was created in 2004. But what was not envisaged, that human factor will still come in, is still happening. You see, now as good as the Contributory Pension Act is, the violation, the government itself is the greatest violator.
Well, how do you mean?
What I meant is that it says that in the Act that 5% of every monthly consolidated revenue should be set aside for the payment of accrued right monthly. Whereas government doesn't do that. To the extent that they allow it to accumulate to over 200 billion naira. So, you see, this kind of thing is about human factor. And I think it is about the career officers who should have been guiding the political office holders aright to say that, this thing is violating the constitution of the land. Honestly speaking, it baffles someone. I don't know how many reforms we have to do. We are now to reform the reformed now. And what we can only appeal is that the human operators should operate sincerely and objectively to the intent and objectives of the Act. And let me tell you, part of it is that in the Act, it never says you should be waiting for accrued right. Once you have your contributions reconciled and your balance outstanding already credited, then it's supposed to be disbursed and lump sums should be given to the retiree.
Dr. Adetoro, perhaps I have to interject.
Yes, sir.
We are talking about reform.
Yes.
And this reform that we are talking about also have a human element.
Yes, sir.
part of the people who operate in the system are also the government functionaries.
Yes, sir.
I mean, people who grew in the service.
Yes, sir.
And became permanent secretaries, directors. Why is it difficult to implement a reform that is meant to provide succor to citizens? Perhaps we are the enemies of ourselves.
Thank you. It appears like that, but it doesn't appear again because the body language of Mr. President sometimes guides the extent to which the career officers will operate. For example, if memos are pushed for payment and it's not approved, and when it's approved also, the Ministry of Finance and the Central Bank refuse to fund, then there lies lacuna in the operations. I think if we stick to the intent, the spirit of the heart, which says 5% of consolidated revenue should always be set aside to settle pensions, I think we will not be at the stage we find ourselves. Now that even the government is failing in remitting its own counterpart funding, then the pension fund administrators should also not hide under the inefficiency of the government to not release the one already contributed that is in their coffer. For example, I had to contact my own relation manager. Sometimes he will even be evasive. For over 1 year, they never communicated with me until when I alerted them about 3 or 4 months ago that, what is happening to my contributed funds? How far has it yielded? And so on. To the extent that I had to fight and I had to be communicating with their head office, Stanbic IBTC, their head office. And they are telling me, before they now rush to give me the balance statement, until just last month, when they now gave me, my outstanding balance had been credited to my account. And I said, release my contributed funds to me. They were now saying that they are being guided by the guideline, which is not in the spirit of the art. I think there is no thorough supervision, even in pension transition and pension processing. And that is making all the operators to be playing hide and seek games, just like my colleague said. And all these things must be fine-tuned. In the spirit of patriotism and in the spirit of love for the country. Because, let me tell you, these are people who build these nations. I must confess to you. These are people who build this nation. My colleague was a former librarian, college librarian. You can imagine. Me, I've produced even doctors and professors. And I'm now suffering the fate of enjoying the fruit of my labor. I think it's unfair. So everybody must play his own part.
Thank you very much, Dr.
And I will want to appeal to Madam DG of PENCO to quickly act fast to release the money that she said very soon it will be released. Thank you very much.
Well, your short advice to retirees.
Well, thank you, sir. I want to say that there should be proper monitoring by the regulatory
your
bodies.
Advice to retirees.
They should not keep quiet, though, because we are in a situation whereby you have to speak up, or else you are forgotten.
Citizens must speak up. Retirees must speak up. Government officials must also perform to expectation. It's only when we do this that Nigeria can grow. It's on this note that we'll have to stop this discussion until next week, where we come again. I have to thank Dr. Rasheed Adetoro for coming on the beach.
It's my pleasure.
And also appreciate Dr. Gabriel Onifade.
Thank you very much
for being here. And I know government is listening. We believe that by the grace of God, you will earn your benefits. Viewers, this is where we have to call it a day. Until next week, I say bye. Remember, October 9 is our date. Be there. Support this scheme. Thank you so much. Bye.